You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast, where badass entrepreneurs come together to share authentic conversations. We're ditching the cookie-cutter approach to building a business and valuing collaboration over competition. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, boy mom, coffee-obsessed coach, speaker, and leader. I help women radiate their brilliance in the online space and create magnetic brands. We are here to have fun, do work we love, and enjoy the ride. Now let's dive in. Welcome back to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. I want to, before I dig into a little bit of story time today, just give you some housekeeping to look forward to for this podcast because it's brand spanking new and I want you to be excited for what's to come and also have a full expectation of whether or not this is the podcast for you. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so that you're getting notifications when there are new episodes released. You can expect a new episode to release every single Wednesday. And these episodes are going to be bite-sized. They're going to be short and sweet and straight to the point. And we're also going to be sprinkling in some guest expert interviews, which are going to be so juicy and so good. And I have so many amazing, incredible entrepreneurs in the lineup. So stay tuned for that. So now that we've done the quick housekeeping bit in the very beginning of this podcast, I want to today tell you a little bit about who I am and how I got here and why that actually is something that can fuel your fire and help you take into perspective where you're at right now, where you're going, and how to navigate this wild world of being an entrepreneur. Because the truth is, it is like we are on a roller coaster sometimes. And I fucking hate roller coasters. So my journey started off in 2017, actually a little bit prior to that. Something you'll learn about me on this podcast is that I have very little sense of time and a horrible memory. But before my son was born in 2017, I had been dabbling in network marketing. I had signed up with a health company, and really my intention behind that was just to get healthy. I was trying to have a baby at that point, trying to get pregnant, and I knew that I needed to take better care of my body. At the time, I was working at least 12 to 14-hour shifts every single day at the doggy daycare that I worked at, and this was kind of my in-between job from dropping out of college and trying to figure out what the hell it was that I wanted to do with my life. And the job was fun, but it was also a huge source of burnout in my life. So I signed up with a network marketing company and used the products obsessively, fell in love with the opportunity of growing a business online, and really got sucked in. I got so sucked in that I knew that that was really the big picture for me, was to be making money online, to be helping people with something that was really important. And at the time, I thought that that was their health, which is funny because if you fast forward a couple of years, not even, less than 2 years, it was not aligned with my purpose. It was not really what I wanted to be doing. So I stayed with that company for quite some time, all the way through my pregnancy. If you scroll back on Facebook and Instagram, you will find my old pregnancy pictures and videos of me posting sweaty selfies and doing my in-home workouts. So if you're looking for a good laugh today, you can go back and look at that. And I keep those things up because I want to see how far I've come. And I think it's really important for all of us to have that perspective, to be looking at not just where we are now and where we want to go, but what it is that we've gone through, because all of that really is what creates our brand. And you'll hear me talking about branding a lot on this podcast. So anyways, I was pregnant, having this network marketing company be my secondary source of income. And we had moved a bunch of times at this point, but we had just signed a lease on a new rental. We were moving again, and I had just told my boss that I was pregnant. And at the time, I was pretty, in the beginning stages of my pregnancy, but it quickly escalated into harassment at my job and not feeling like I was welcome there anymore. And it was really, really rough. And at the same time, I was overworked and underpaid, and it was just not a good situation, especially if you're pregnant and high on emotions all of the time. So I decided to quit. I gave my notice. I gave my 2-week notice, and then was quote unquote fired after that. So I was pregnant. We had just moved. I had no source of income and no freaking idea what the hell I was gonna do. So you're gonna start to notice a pattern here of just taking the leap, of doing things that feel a little bit crazy sometimes. And this is really something that I've done over and over and over again in so many different ways. So I left the job, moved into our new home, and got myself a job in childcare with the intention that I was going to bring my baby to work and work a regular job. But something kept nudging me to pursue the network marketing business, to really go all in. And I went all in. Let me just tell you, every spare second of every single day that I had on my lunch breaks, early in the morning, we're talking like 4 a.m. when I got out of work, listening to podcasts on my way home in the car, I was working on my business. And unfortunately, it really wasn't adding up to much results, which led me to get really frustrated. And for a very long time, I could not figure out how the hell everybody else in my company in similar industries were showing up and making their next rank and going on all of the company trips and getting all of the bonuses and doing all of the things. I couldn't understand why they were successful. I had no idea what I was doing differently or what they were doing differently, and I wasn't. I was obsessed with studying other people in the online space and trying to figure out what made their clock tick. So after some time and a little bit of success, but a ton of frustration, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then I had my son. And if you're a mom, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, let me just tell you, when you have a baby for the first time, it changes everything. It flips your entire freaking world upside down in ways that you never thought would be possible. And I was on maternity leave at the time, obviously, had my baby, left my job, which was another doggy daycare job. I jumped around quite a bit. And I didn't have a backup plan. I was on maternity leave, and I had the intention of going back initially to my job, putting my son in childcare. But as soon as we got home from the hospital in those first couple of weeks, I knew that I didn't want to. And I was a little bit stubborn about it. So I made a big decision, and it was probably not the most responsible decision in the world. It's not what I would recommend everybody to do. But I made the decision that I was not going back. I was not going back to my regular job. And I was going to make this entrepreneurship stuff work. I had no idea how or what I was doing, but I made a commitment. So fast forward, I left my network marketing company because I didn't love it. I wasn't making a ton of money. And at the time, I had a spouse who could support us financially while I tried to figure out what the hell I was doing. So I jumped on that, left my network marketing company, and allowed myself to play. I allowed myself to really look at what lights me up. What am I really good at? What am I voluntarily spending all of my time doing? Things that I had spent hours and hours and hours and years on learning. So when I decided to pull the pieces to the puzzle together, I recognized that I could use those skills to help other people. So I stumbled across a Facebook post one day in a Facebook group that I was in, and there was a woman who was looking for a VA, so virtual assistant. And I didn't have any qualifications necessarily to be a VA, but I sent her a message right away and said, hey, what do you need help with? Let me help you. Let me solve your problem. And that, in a nutshell, is running a business. So she hired me right away. We worked together for quite some time. And that position as a VA really switched everything for me because I was able to do something that I was naturally good at and hone in on my expertise. Because through all of the work that I was doing as a VA, and I eventually had more clients come on board, and in less than 6 months, I was fully booked out and making enough income to, pay our bills and finally not have to go back to a job and stress about money. And through all of that, I really recognized how easy it was for me to design things intuitively, to, despite not having any degree in design, be able to create a really cohesive look and feel for the business owners that I was supporting. And that was where I found my sweet spot. So the reason that I tell you this whole long-winded story, and if you're still here, holy cow, I love you. The reason that I tell you this whole story is because I want you to notice how many fucking times I changed my mind. How many times I pivoted and evolved and recreated what it was that I was doing. Because entrepreneurship and creating a business that you are in love with, that is sustainable and bringing you income, is not about a linear path. There is no, from point A to point B, roadmap that you're going to find that's going to give you all of the answers. And the reason that I teach what I teach and I'm so obsessed with branding is because it really encourages you and allows you to take a step back and look at who you are, what you want to create for you, dropping the cookie cutter, fitting into a box approach of growing a business, and really expanding on the gifts that you already have. Expanding on the things that make you you, that make people want to spend time with you, invest money in you, and be in your energy. So that's my why. That is why I am here, because I want to be able to share with you how to do this. Whether you're in network marketing, you're a service-based provider, hell, you could be a brick and mortar business owner. It does not matter. What matters is how you show up for people and how you show up for yourself, and allowing yourself to recreate your brand as many times as you need to until you find that sweet spot. Because it gets to be fun. It gets to be this wild journey, the roller coaster ride. And when you have support, when you have tools and resources like this podcast, it gets to feel a little less lonely, and it gets to be easy, and you get to skip steps. You get to learn from the people that have gone before you and done the things that you want to do. So that is my story. It was a little bit more long-winded than I expected it to be, but I hope that it inspired you today to give yourself permission to fuck up sometimes, to give yourself permission to not be perfect or to have everything figured out right now, because I promise you, you will figure it out. Okay, so I want to leave you with a mantra today, a little affirmation that you can say to yourself every damn day, put it on a sticky note, do whatever you want with it. But I want you to repeat to yourself or share with yourself on a regular basis, my success is inevitable. I trust in my process. My success is inevitable, and I trust in my process. Okay. That is all I have for you today. I hope this served you in some way. I would love to have you connect with me over on Instagram at calandra.martin, or find me over on Facebook and join the Magnetic Boss Collective. That's our free community where you can share about your business, connect with other like-minded women, and I will see you on the next episode.